We begin our expedition of Aconcagua's normal route by registering our climbing permits at the Horcones Ranger Station. The ascent begins by following the Horcones Gulch as we pass serene lagoons. The bridge we'll use to cross the Horcones River was built during the filming of the movie 7 Years in Tibet. Following the right side of the river, native Argentine grasses cover El Durazno Gulch as the gradual incline ushers us into our lower base camp at Confluencia. The following day, we make our first acclimatization hike to Plaza Francia, where we gain 700 meters, giving our body proper acclimatization before returning back to Confluencia. Today we depart Confluencia to move to our high base camp at Plaza de Mulas. We descend briefly to once again cross the Horcones River, continuing to Playa Ancha Valley, an open rock field 10 kilometers long. As we progress through the valley, Quebrada del Sargento Mas, a razor-sharp pyramidal formation, and the summit of Aconcagua can both be seen directly ahead. The gradual approach leads us up to Plaza de Mulas, where we check in at the ranger station before making this camp our home for the next several days. The following days may include acclimatization hikes to Mount Bonete, as well as ferrying loads to our first high camp. We rest and continue to acclimatize before leaving the lower mountain behind for the first of our 3 high camps. Our bid for the summit begins by moving to our first high camp at Canada. Our route winds us from Plaza de Mulas through El Semáforo, a well-marked path twisting between rocky outcroppings, before it opens a diagonal path leading to the plateaued ridge of Camp Canada. The following day, we depart Camp Canada and follow the route to a well-known landmark, the 5,000-meter stone. We continue to ascend to the left of the mountain face until we arrive at Nido de Condores, where spectacular views of Aconcagua summit are to the north, Los Patos and Barrial valleys to the east, Gran Acarrea to the south, and Mount Catedral, the Argentine-Chile dividing range to the west. Depending on the forecast and itinerary, we spend several days at Nido de Condores, possibly incorporating acclimatization hikes or ferrying loads before transferring to our final high camp. We leave Nido de Condores behind and climb to either Camp Berlin or Camp Cólera, our final high camp. A shorter climb, but nonetheless taxing to our lungs and body due to altitude, we make our way eastward past El Balcón Amarillo, a colorful rock formation, before we set up tents at our highest and windiest camp. We make preparations and continue to acclimatize in anticipation of our summit bid. Weeks of climbing and acclimatization are now put to the test as we begin our pre-dawn ascent to the summit. The well-defined route starts across a section called White Rocks, where it follows the northern side of the mountain, leading to switchbacks before we arrive at Refugio Independencia. At this common emergency shelter, we continue to evaluate the team's health, address any concerns, and prepare for the next section of the route. The next section of the mountain takes us across the Traverse, a windy and exposed face directly below the summit. The traverse increases in elevation before our arrival at the cave, a large indentation in the mountain face where we rest and reevaluate what gear we bring to the summit before our final push. We are now left with the final stretch, the renowned Canaleta. This steep and unrelenting ridge extends towards the west until we switch back toward the east and the summit proper to avoid the southern wall's exposure. Focusing on pressure breathing and rest stepping, we slowly reach the rooftop of the Western Hemisphere. Congratulations and excitement fills the summit as we celebrate the incredible accomplishment of our triumphant climb. We savor the summit views as long as the weather permits and then descend back to high camp, where we fall into our tents and sleep with the knowledge of a well-deserved summit. The following day, we break camp and take our final close-up views of the summit and surrounding peaks below. We now move down the mountain, passing each high camp before returning to Plaza de Mulas. We celebrate with a summit dinner in our dining tent before retiring for our final night on the mountain. Reflecting on the weeks past, we make our long trek from Plaza de Mulas to the park entrance, where our private transportation awaits to transfer us to Mendoza for a relaxing night at the hotel. Take your first step towards the summit by contacting Summit Aconcagua today.